right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to MMORPG.com's live stream broadcast with Planetside 2's creative forces, Tramell, Isaac, and Matt Higby. And, well, God, guys, we got, I don't know, like a week and a day until launch, right? How you feeling about that?
Dude, look at me. Look at me. Do it look like I'm ready to look at this? Hair is just going out of crazy, all kind of nuts.
Is that your natural hair then? I assume?
Yeah, it's just kind of, kind of sprouted up. It's the stress. It's the stress that's doing it. I don't know.
It looks good though. It looks good. It looks a little bit like Matt's though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You copying him or you?
I'm trying to be like him. I just when I grow up, when I grow up, I want to be like him.
Keep trying, dude. Keep trying, man.
Trying, dude. I got the scruff.
The natural locks.
I wanna warn our viewers that you might see two Matts on our stream. The way that the video is set up, occasionally Matt will pop up twice, but that's okay. As long as Tramell keeps talking, you'll see Tramell.
Yeah, sometimes.
But
want two Matts.
Yeah, two Matts are bad. There's been two Matts before at a game show, and I mean right now you have two Matts with the two hairs, so I think we're
no. It's more like anti-Matt.
Confusing enough. Who's who?
Matt and anti-Matt. It's kind of hard to tell us apart. One's got glasses. So
Bizarro
Matt. Bizarro
okay.
Matt.
All right. Well, I mean, how you guys feeling? It is like a week till launch now. So how you feel? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. I think we're in a good spot. Art-wise, we're fixing stuff. We're in a good spot where we can polish a bunch of stuff, so we can continue to work on and build upon what we got and refine everything. So I think that's a good spot to be in. And the game is plugging along. We're coming up with getting bugs and squashing them as they come up. I think art-wise, I think we're doing pretty good. What about you, Matt?
We're busy as shit.
You can't swear. I don't think you can swear. There's children watching.
We're busy as all get out. No, I mean, we're just looking at results coming in from beta. We just patched yesterday. Well, we patched last night or Saturday night very late, and we were watching, people's feedback from that. So, we're very busy reacting to feedback from players and trying to put in as many features as we can, trying to get stuff done.
And what possibly can you do in a week? What are some things that you could expect on launch that aren't in the last few days of beta here?
Well, I mean, it's not even just a week. We're usually about a week to 2 weeks ahead of what you guys can see on beta in terms of features getting developed internally. So we have lots of bug fixing, lots of polish, lots of tuning, all of those type of things. For the most part, all of our major gameplay features are in right now. Nothing else really major is going to be coming online with the exception of item trials. Item trials is kind of the last feature that we're putting in, and that was something that our community really rallied around and decided was a huge deal for them to get item trials in, which makes total sense. So at launch, you'll have the ability to look at an item on the store and be able to get a trial for it, which will last about an hour, or I'm not sure what the final time is, but you'll be able to try those weapons out without having to buy them for station cash or for certification points, which is good. But that's the last big feature that's coming in. Everything else is just bug fix and polish and do some tuning here and there, trying to get the weapons to feel a little bit tighter. It's good. We're, I think, in a really solid spot. Really good place.
I had a bit of a scare today. I was getting ready to play. I haven't had the chance to play much yet. I'm still pretty much a noob, but I was working on it this weekend, and then I plugged in my Xbox 360 controller, and then I tried to play it now, and it kept crashing, and it took me a minute to realize that it's because of the Xbox 360 controller and Windows 8. Whoops.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's minor compared to everything else.
I've seen that as a bug come in.
Yeah.
About controllers.
It's not a problem with Windows 7. Apparently, it's just 8. So, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, we get the bug reports and we try to squash them as best we possibly can. But we're not going to be able to get all of them right now before launch. But we want everybody to know that this is going to be a constant effort on our part, and we're going to be continuing to smash as many issues as we possibly can and make adjustments on the fly. As fast as we possibly can. So no worries about that on our end.
Yeah, I mean, we're already basically planning on doing nothing but bug fix and polish, and taking the stuff that we've already have in the game and making it better and better for the first couple weeks and maybe even the first couple months post-launch. we're pretty committed to fixing any bugs that happen to be there, getting as much tuning and polish done before we start working on new features and stuff, which is awesome. I'm really proud of that and happy about that.
Well, let's go to some of the player questions. We actually have some from our forums, and then we'll take a few from the chat as well, guys. So those of you who are actually watching the stream right now, get some questions lined up, but don't type them in because they'll just scroll past and I won't get them. So when I ask for them, go for it. We got a few from a user on our forums named Ulron. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Let's just go past that. He wants to know, are there any balance changes coming to the Vanu weapons? Don't listen, Tramell. He says they seem rather powerful when compared to other folks.
What? Come on, really, dude? Have you even tried to kill somebody with the lasher? Really? We got issues, man. We know this. But go ahead and answer that, man.
In general, right now, the Vanu weapons are probably the strongest across the board, at least for infantry weapons, with the exception of the Lasher, which is probably the weakest of the heavy assault primary weapons. That just has to do with the way that they're tuned. NC weapons are really, really good, strong damage. TR weapons have super high firing rate. VS weapons are incredibly accurate. So accuracy, while it doesn't feel as badass when you kill somebody with a super accurate gun as it does when you kill somebody in a couple shots with a high damage gun. Over time, accuracy is a really powerful stat. So, when we're looking at the kill data for the different weapons, we have every single piece of data you can imagine for every single shot that's been fired by every single player. So we have a pretty massive test case and set for us to be able to use to build all of our balance data out. And we're actually not that out of balance for any one empire in any one area, which is awesome. We just have a couple little tweaks to make here and there. And we're doing good.
Even the populations lately seem really, really even. How good does that feel to know that you seem to have a lot of, at least on my server, it's the East Coast server, there's a lot of folks that are, they're even. It's just even across the board for all three factions. I kind of expected somebody to be the heavily favored. How do you feel about the way the balance between the factions and population is right now?
I guess that's a good, that's a testament to us kind of, make sure that everything is balanced across the board. And then your only choice is really choosing which side to, you want to align with. Not necessarily you're choosing a side and giving up something that's really important to the game. I think that once you decide what side you want to be on, you still have the same number of choices, the same type of choices that you would have on another faction. So you're just kind of picking red, blue, or purple at that point.
Yeah. To me, I'm super happy about the empire balance. That was something that we were concerned about for a long time, especially earlier on in beta. We had some mechanics that really allowed empires with a larger population to just totally wreck everybody else. I think that we balanced out a lot of those mechanics to where now you're not getting as big of a advantage by having population. Obviously, having an overwhelming population advantage is going to be an advantage in a big PvP game like this. But now it's pretty even. People, I think, are playing with the teams that suit their gameplay style the most, which is good, rather than just jumping over to the team that has the highest population. So yeah, I'm pretty excited that it's worked out as well as it has.
Got a little bit of a video issue here, folks. Bear with me. We'll keep asking questions here. But anyway, another question from the same guy is, what measures do you have in place for population issues should they arise? There we go. The hair's back. That's why everybody was afraid of that. We're good. We can see you both, I think, at this point. Does anybody want to answer that one?
Oh, okay. We got the population controls.
As problems, as they come.
Yeah, we already got the population controls in. So one side can only get so big. We've got a cap on how many people can actually be in one particular server or another. And we've got the Empire bonuses for the team that has the least amount of people. And of course, we'll continue to add and adjust things as we see fit. But bottom line is we've got like a good baseline, a good starting point for the game to begin. And then once we start to get millions of people in, then we can take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Matt, anything to add?
No, I mean, I think that pretty much covers it. Okay. We have, we have a lot of room to grow with this game, and right now we have so many people who are saying something like, "Oh, well, 8 days left to go, and then you guys are done. Like, how does it feel? Do you feel really good?" And it's like, well, to me, it's 8 days left to go, and then we get started. We have 10 years of Planetside 2 that's just getting started, and that's going to change so much over the next year, 5 years, 10 years. I'm stoked to get started.
All right, how about, is there anything you can tell us about new weapons being added post-launch? Now that we're talking about post-launch. You guys haven't even launched yet, but let's talk about post-launch. Anything we can look forward to, any hints?
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
a bit about some stuff that we're adding post-launch. What are you working on right now for post-launch stuff, Tramell?
We got some different, what we do is we build a bunch of different weapon parts. So, every weapon that we create is made out of 9 different parts. So we pick the most important parts and then build upon that library of parts that we currently have. So what we're doing is creating more LMG variants, and then more from that LMG variant we dissect that and create more variants out of that, be it shotguns or submachine guns or any other kind of auto pistols and things like that. And then design takes those parts and creates weapons out of those and gives those different functionalities and stuff. So what we're doing right now is just trying to fill out a bunch of holes that we currently have in like the looks of some of the weapons. And then after in post-launch, then we'll start creating new functionality for certain types of guns. Like I think in the latest Command Center video, we have somebody working on a new gun type. And that kind of showcases one of the things that we're doing with different types of gun for one of the particular classes that we're talking about. So, check out Command Center, and then you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But we'll continue to make more stuff. We'll continue to refine what we currently have. And, one day you'll wake up and you'll have like a whole bunch of other, weapons inside the store for you to purchase.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new weapon types, not even just new versions of the existing weapons like assault rifles and carbines that we already have in game, but we're also going to be building things like SMGs, heavy pistols, heavy battle rifles are coming in, which are more like single shot variety as opposed to an LMG that a heavy assault can use. Scout rifles are something that's coming soon. So yeah, I mean, we've got a bunch of new weapon types to try to kind of give every class a variety of different roles that they can play in, that are all going to be coming in. A couple of them before launch and lots more post-launch.
Well, that leads me right into the next question, which was from a user named Akita on our forums. And he says, how are you going to handle the future cash shop items? He brings up Tribes Ascend from Hi-Res Studios, where they one of the trends that they saw with that game was that they would release a new weapon and it would be overpowered almost on purpose, they thought, the community thought, because then you would buy it and then they would tone it back down. Is something similar going to happen with Planetside 2, or is that not really the way you guys plan on doing things with the cash shop?
Well, we're certainly not planning on putting things in and having them be overpowered as like a means to entice people to purchase them and then nerfing them after that. We're building all of our weapons to be, in as many ways and as much as possible, side grades to one another rather than upgrades. I've talked before a lot about how that's a really challenging thing to do 100%. But that's what our goal is, and that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to pull anything over on anybody by releasing some weapon and having it be super strong and then tuning it down. The thing is, we already know what all these guns are. We know what the guns that we're going to be releasing for the next 6 months are. We already have them made.
Yeah, and really, in a lot of regards, many of those guns are just, kind of like Matt was saying, they're more like side grades. But, sometimes you just want a visual difference between the current gun you have and the one that you want to purchase, so that you can stand out differently. So even if the stats were the same across the board, then you would have a choice between that same gun, but now it looks completely different. Mm-hmm. So purchasing that sets you apart from the next person.
You might hear telephones ringing and you might hear dogs barking. I want you to know that it's probably both on my end and their end.
That's how
the dogs are on my end. The telephones are probably on theirs. Anyway, we have we have time for a few more questions from the audience, so I'll go ahead with, well, Ferber216, he asked one immediately. The rest of you guys go ahead and start asking some. The first thing that Ferber asked was, hang on real quick. There we go. That was fun. Anyway, Ferber asks, oh, good Lord, he disappeared that quickly. Ferber216 said, will shotgun recoil be fixed? At the moment, it's completely random, impossible to predict, and it doesn't reward accuracy. It's more of a luck gun.
Just shoot him an email and I'll tell him.
Shotgun recoil? Yeah, it's pretty high right now. But shotguns are also really, really strong. So I think it affects slugs more than anything else. And that's kind of a problem. But for the most part, I mean, looking at our data, shotguns right now are kicking a ton of ass. So I wouldn't want to give them any additional accuracy or make them any easier for people to use.
Okay. This one gets directed right at Matt. He wants to know. It's from Renick Ortega, and I'm gonna say it just the way he said it. Please address the uselessness of the Prowler secondaries.
The uselessness of the Prowler secondaries? Yeah. Well, all of the main battle tanks, for the most part, with I think one exception per Empire, have the exact same secondary weapons. So they're relatively not useless, I guess. We do want to make the secondary weapons a little bit better on tanks in general, just to encourage you to always bring a secondary gunner with you, and that's something that the vehicle guys have kind of had as a tuning goal for a while. It's not 100% there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean...
next is from Ripper X, who you guys actually probably remember.
Rip X, what's up, Ripper? That's my man right there.
He wants to know. He wants to know about more continents. Anything that we can hear about now, or are we just looking at what's in the game and forget about future for right now?
Oh yeah, we got 3 more on the slate. First up is Cirrus, which is our volcanic planet, and then we got Hassan. And then finally, we got Osher. So we got, we got them all planned out. Everything's ready to go. We're already started on Cirrus as far as like getting the concepts going. Hassan's already got the concepts going on it, and we're going to be starting on Osher pretty soon here. So we got 3 more lined up for next year, and then of course we'll be continuing to make changes to any of the continents that we currently have. So as we move forward, we'll still be updating those and making adjustments based on feedback.
All right. Next is, are we going to see any Max Love? What are their new weapons going to be about, and when will we see more abilities for them?
We just buffed Max's 2 patches in a row to make them a little bit better. They weren't being used as much as we wanted them to be after we put the resource cost and cooldown timer on them. They were definitely being overused before that. Now they're a little bit below where we want them to be used. So they might need some additional buffing, but since we just put in a new damage mitigation buff on them, which should make them a lot more survivable, we kind of want to see how that settles out before we make any other plans on what we're going to do to address them.
Okay.
But we will have different secondary weapons in. At launch, they'll have access to a couple different weapon side grades per weapon type. And as for abilities, those will probably be coming post-launch in a larger update, probably sometime between 6 months and a year from now. It's not going to be something that comes in right away.
Okay. The next one is there an ETA for the release of AV turrets for engineers?
AV turrets for engineers? No, there's not an ETA on that right now. We had some testing internally that we were doing with them, but they're going to require a little bit of additional work. It's still something that we're planning on doing, getting the AV turrets out there for those guys, and even getting AA turrets out there for them too. But they won't be in for launch. They'll probably be in a short time frame post-launch.
Next one is, can I have Matt's phone number?
Sure, here it is right here. Hold on, let me get it for you.
Write it down, please.
Go ahead and get it for you.
Hold it up to the screen.
1-800-555 cock.
And
1-800 big dog.
I do believe Radar X just typed it in the chat too. So Matt, enjoy that.
There you go, Radar X, and in the community.
I don't think Radar X type 1-800 dong chat.
I don't think so.
Bill, that is not. He would not.
All right, we're gonna keep going. So, any update on the heavy weapons revamp?
Yeah, it's coming along. We didn't patch them this week. They'll be in, well, this week. We didn't patch them last week, which was yesterday, but they will probably be in next week. And the one that's going to change the most is the Lasher, and the one that's going to change the least is the MCG. Mm-hmm. The Jackhammer is going to get a couple little changes, not a massive overhaul. It's mostly going to be giving it a little bit of additional range. The MCG, the biggest problem with it is the spool up right now. We're working on some ways to try to fix up the spool up to make it not require you to have like precognition to know you're about to run into an enemy in order for you to have a fair fight. But then the Lasher right now is just a clusterfuck. It's just jacked. I'm sorry about the language, but it's bad.
Well,
really
that's
bad. But it'll be huge to be buffed in the next patch.
Yeah, the next question was, can you tell any more specifics about the Lasher then?
The Lasher is moving over to being more of like an orb launcher. It's not going to be the Planetside 1 style. Anytime you get near the orb as it's traveling, it does damage to you. But it'll be more like it can fire these explosive plasma orbs. It has a lot more range than it has currently. And it ends up being sort of a weapon that's extremely useful for clearing people out who are behind cover, who are trying to like... it's a displacement weapon, essentially. There's a bunch of guys hiding behind cover in a certain area, then the Lasher's going to be really good at clearing them out of there.
The next person asked a bit about the spawning or the camping of spawn points and things like that. I guess they're concerned that it's still happening this late in beta, and they want to know if you guys have any plans to help fix that a little bit.
Well, yeah, for sure. You can see in something like the update that we just did to the Crown, and the update that we did to a couple of the other outposts, like the Palisades and Xenotech Labs, were specifically designed around trying to make it a little bit harder for infantry and vehicles to be able to camp the spawn rooms as easily as they could previously.
Okay.
So look at the Crown as an example of one that's been changed. So now vehicles basically are not going to have a opportunity to camp a spawn room in the same way that they could previously, and we're trying to, do that in all the problem areas that we know of.
Cool.
Yeah. And there's also a couple of changes that were made on Amrish with some of the spawn areas, so where you can't exactly pull up a tank right next to the door or anywhere near the door. So there's a lot of like changes that happened in Amrish that weren't available in Esmir or Indar, because obviously Amrish benefited from the two maps that came before it. So there's a couple outposts that are set up more conducive to people actually running out of the door without getting crushed.
Yeah, one of the other things that I want to note and make sure that everybody's sort of aware of is Amherst was our third continent. Obviously, we knew what sort of problems needed to be solved by the time we started working on Amherst, so we were able to make a continent that just worked a lot better. But we're not just ignoring. We have other continents that we're building, kind of moving forward, as Tramell was just talking about a couple minutes ago, but we're not stopping working on our existing continents and saying, all right, these are good enough, we're done with them. The last couple weeks, the level designers have been putting a lot of effort into going back to Indar and fixing a lot of areas in there. We revamped 3 outposts almost entirely from the ground up, completely redid them. And we changed a lot of stuff in a lot of different outposts besides those 3 too. Level designers and environment artists are right now working on kind of giving that same treatment to Esamir, going back through and trying to add in some outposts where we felt like there wasn't enough concentration of conquest points in certain areas on Esamir. So we're not resting on our laurels with these other continents at all. We're going to continue to make them as high quality as they could possibly be.
Like you're never going to be done fine tuning them until they're just right, essentially. So
we're not content to let anything be okay. We want everything to be excellent. We want everything to be great. We want everything to be awesome and fun and exciting. We want people to want to fight in each one of these continents, not go, shit, we have to fight on Esamir today? All right, I guess. We want them to want to fight there because it's cool and different and unique.
Yeah.
And we're not going to stop messing around with these continents, and that's why I said post-launch too. We're really working on polish and bug fix, and trying to get the stuff that we are releasing to be the highest caliber, best stuff that we possibly can do. That's a big goal for us post-launch, and we're doing that before we're just planning on piling on new content. We want all the stuff we release first to be highest level possible, and then we'll start adding more and more and more and more.
Absolutely. That brings me to a more sort of small question, but it's got to be big for this guy. Johnny the Juicy J, that's his name, I'm not lying, couldn't make it up. Could either one of you shed some light on visual clutter options? He says he can't play Planetside 2 for more than an hour because of all the screen shake and vision blocking effects. They make him sick. Is there a way to tone those down without losing the other visual quality?
I mean, so much of that stuff is all built into balance. We don't want to give you the ability to just turn off screen shake as a client option, right? Then you're going to have an advantage over other people. Same thing with fog or, lighting flares or whatever. All those things kind of need to be equal for everybody in order for it to be a fair area or fair competitive experience.
So basically, he should take that stuff that keeps you from getting seasick, right?
Yeah.
Some Dramamine. Take some Dramamine.
That's it, the Dramamine.
We're going to have to ship that with the game. Sending that out to everybody.
About motion sickness, but not as much. And a shooter gets a lot of people motion sick. It just does. So.
Anything else, folks, before we move on to the play session? Because I know Matt's got to he's got to go, but Tramell's going to stick around, and I'm a noob, so he's going to watch me die repeatedly. And we do have a bunch of
don't get me killed, dude.
I'm going to get you. You're gonna die. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna appreciate that. So you have to work on your skills real quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a big red flag is going to be above my head when they see me walking into a wall repeatedly, so don't worry about it.
I'm going to come on the server and just, slash kill you guys a few times.
Yeah, I haven't even played a Vanu yet before, so we're just going to say that's why I'm bad. It's because I haven't played
okay. Let's just let that be.
Vanu, you're automatically going to be bad.
Yeah, see? That's right.
It's just how it works.
Yeah.
How it goes.
We've got a bunch of beta keys coming up. Matt, thank you for joining us. Tramell, you're sticking around. Guys, congratulations on the 1 week mark, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week it is.
All right, bye, Matt.
Goodbye, Matt. Goodbye,
audience.
All right, we're going to switch over now, and that way we won't have the weird, close Matt and weird far Matt thing going on either. Here we go. And look at the crazy screen, everybody. Look at my crazy screen.
Burp.
It's all right. So, I've got to make a Vanu, and Tramell's going to show me through the... So, for all of you guys that are watching are probably, Planetside 2 veterans, and you're going to just laugh at me, and that's fine. You can do that. But I've got to try my best to hang tough with Tramell here.
I can't believe you haven't played.
I know. Well,
Sad state of affairs, my friend.
All right, what server am I joining? Please tell me that.
You're going to Thebe West.
Thebe West, thank you. We'll just make a big red tag over my head here. All right. So what are we doing?
All right, so we're going to end up in the warp gate. Your first stop. Actually, no, you're actually probably going to go through the little training experience because this is your first time.
Look at that. See, I didn't have that on the new conglomerate because I did play that.
Yeah, so now you got to listen to all this, and it tells you gives you a little bit of backstory, gives you a little bit of information. It's going to drop you into a hostile area, hopefully, and then you're going to get killed real quick. So what you can do...
Should we just keep me... should I just stay light assault the entire time?
Yeah, pick whatever you want. Pick whatever you want. And as soon as you drop down, just let me know where you end up, and then I will come rescue you from your instant doom. All right, let's see what's going on. You're probably going to end up on Endar first and foremost. All right, I'm jumping in now.
Pull up Twitch here so I can read what people are saying about me as I die horrific deaths.
Alright, I'm in Endar, and what is your name? We'll go ahead and invite you to...
it'll be Murphy MMO.
Alright, Murphy MMO. I'm going to add you as my friend.
I'm pretty sure I don't have a drop pod right now. I'm just dropping.
Yeah, that's a bug we know about. We're gonna get that
cool.
before launch.
Murphy.